This is the body fat percentage that makes women stare, and I'm not gonna clickbait you. It is anywhere from 8 to 15%, but there's a couple things that you need to do to actually attain the physique that's gonna allow women to stare, because you can be 8 to 15% body fat and just be skinny fat and not attract any woman. So I'm gonna break down everything you need to do to attain the physique that is going to attract women and make them obsessed with your body, which is so important for getting your foot in the door with as many girls as possible. So that's what I'm gonna break down everything you need to do in this video. And before we dive into it, I created an aesthetic body transformation guide, giving you all the steps that you need to take in order to achieve this completely for free. It's the first link in the description below. When I was 14 years old, I thought that having abs would get me girls. So I prioritized getting as lean as possible. I would literally only eat an apple at lunch, and my body fat percentage dropped down extremely low to probably around 6 to 8% body fat. But I was a skinny kid growing up, so I had no muscle. My arms looked like twigs. There was nothing really that good. You could see that there was a little bit of lean muscle on my frame, but it wasn't like I was attractive. When I wore a shirt, I just looked like a really skinny kid, and if I took it off, I had abs. So it didn't help me get any girls whatsoever. See, now I'm a bit more on the higher body fat percentage, especially because I am bulking currently. So I'm probably around 15%, honestly, but I have so much muscle on the upper portion of my body. I have big shoulders, big chest, big back, big lats. I still maintain abs, and then I have some okay legs. But this amount of muscle makes me so much more attractive when I fill out my clothes. When I wear a t-shirt and you can notice the shoulder protruding in the back and you can see the traps and everything just looks good, and then you still have the abs. This is so much more attractive than being someone who is just skinny with abs. That's not gonna do much for you. You wanna fill out your frame and put on muscle, even if that means bulking in the short term in order to get the muscle on. You gotta keep the long-term mindset. You gotta think, you're gonna be around for most likely decades and decades. You might need to bulk in the meantime if you're a skinny kid to get that mass on, and then you can cut down and maintain that lean muscular physique, which is the most attractive version of yourself. But it really comes down to you having a muscular physique in the 8 to 15% body fat percentage range. That is what's gonna make you the most attractive. And now, how do you attain this? Well, it's actually very simple. It comes down to two key things. It's gonna be diet and training. These are your two biggest factors that are either gonna make or break your physique. Diet, everyone knows, but not everyone knows what I'm about to tell you, which is you wanna have a test boosting diet that is high in protein. You wanna be eating the foods that are gonna lead to you naturally having higher levels of testosterone and boosting your test, so your body is anabolic and primed to put on muscle and shed fat naturally. If you're in that anabolic state because you have high test, it is like taking a low dose of steroids. I swear to God, I'm not even exaggerating. When I started eating a test boosting diet about 3 months ago, my physique just started to change. When I really start pushing myself now in the gym, I'm noticing tons and tons of improvements week by week, month by month. Whereas before, it was just like my physique was just staying the same. Eating a test boosting diet changed everything. So what actually goes into a test boosting diet? Well, it comes down to eating a lot of cholesterol, fat-rich foods, healthy foods though. So things like grass-fed ground beef, salmon, eggs, rice, sweet potatoes, regular potatoes. I'm trying to think of all the things I'm eating. Extra virgin olive oil. These sorts of foods are gonna be your fuel that allow you to just pack on muscle like you've never seen before. So I'll break down what I eat in a day for you guys. My first meal is beef and rice, about 200 grams, which is about 7 ounces of grass-fed ground beef. Then I have about 8 to 10 ounces of salmon with rice. Then I have that same first meal again. And then I also eat about 6 to 8 eggs before bed raw. That's what I eat. This diet will make you into a savage. And sometimes I eat potatoes, whether it's regular potatoes or sweet potatoes on the side with those first 3 meals. This will make you an absolute animal. And I do also take the weekends to eat a little more carbs, kind of like cheat meals, but just to kind of fuel up on carbs and really eat a pizza. I know it's not the most healthy, but it gives the body the carbs that it needs to be fueled, because it is a little bit lower in carbs in my diet during the week. But that's what a test boosting diet is all about. It's about eating lots of cholesterol rich foods which are going to fuel you, and you're also getting a ton of protein, which is going to support muscle building. So it goes hand in hand. Your body becomes very anabolic, very primed to put on muscle and lose fat, and you're just going to feel different as a man. It's just day and night comparison in terms of how you feel when you eat this diet. This is the first step to building that aesthetic body that women find attractive. The second part that goes into building this physique is going to be training. It's obvious. You need to be in the gym working out if you want to put on muscle. Everyone knows this. But what do you need to do if you want to make gains at an insane rate? This is things that I wish I could have told my 15-year-old self, who was an absolute dumbass and had no idea what he was doing. It comes down to two things. The first is going to be intensity. You need to be training very, very hard. Let me give you an example from my shoulder workout yesterday. I did triple drop sets on the cable lateral raises. The first one, I did 60 pounds. Take it with a grain of salt. I don't know if it's actually 60 pounds, but that's just the weight that I can do. And it was freaking heavy. It was almost cheat reps. I was really just driving it up. Then I went to 50 for the second set with a triple drop set, going 50, 40, 30, 10 reps each. And then the third set was 40, 30, 20. And you can imagine by the end of that, my shoulder was just dying. Then I did some shoulder press, pumped that out till failure. Then I did where you got the bench like this, and I leaned into it, put my knees on the seat, and leaned in and did half reps in the shoulders range of motion, like where it's the most tension for lateral raises, kind of the Y raises, where it really hits that lateral delt, just partials with the drop set as well. That was killer. My shoulders are literally aching today. They're hurting. And it's because I'm pushing myself so hard in the gym. And you're going to want to push yourself this hard when you have high testosterone. So that's why the diet and all the test boosting stuff is so key. And what's the other thing that's going to allow you to actually make this transformation possible? It's progressive overload. You have to be getting stronger on the key compound lifts. The stronger that you get, the more muscle you're going to pack on. It's that simple. And this ties into intensity too. You're not going to progressive overload if you're not training intensely. So when I was 17 in my senior year, pretty much the entire senior year, I was just doing 95 pounds on incline barbell bench for about 6 to 8 reps. And I wondered why I wasn't making any gains. And it was because I was training like a bitch. I wasn't pushing myself. I would just go and do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. No, you got to be pushing yourself. Once I started to actually train hard as fuck during quarantine, I had nothing better to do. That is when I started to make some gains. When I got my diet a little bit better, it wasn't good, not anything compared to now, but it was better than what it was. And then I started to push hard. That was when I made my first initial transformation. And my boys were like, holy shit, after quarantine, they're like, wow, Seb, you got big. And they looked up to me as like the leader of the gym area of the friend group. They're like, bro, what are you doing for this? What are you doing for that? And I was giving everyone advice. And that's because I actually pushed myself. I started to take my diet a little more seriously and progressive overload. It's those things that are going to allow you to make this transformation possible. And once again, everything is outlined in the Aesthetic Body Transformation Guide. It gives you every single step that you need. It has all the different workout programs I've used over the years, so you can pick the one that aligns to your lifestyle. It gives you my diet. It gives you what you're actually aiming for to achieve an aesthetic physique. Everything's broken down and it's completely for free. It's the first link in the description below.